lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
There's a running joke that everything in Australia wants to kill you, and though Aussies may tire of the cliche, they certainly don't seem to be helping distance themselves from the gag when even the racetracks they build seem to want to kill you. Bathurst is already a daunting prospect, but placing turbocharged 80s machinery on this hallowed tarmac ups the ante significantly. And that is the challenge that these drivers face today. We'll see who can handle such a test of skill and bravery as we get ready to watch round 8 of the iRacing Kamel GT series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth, as always, is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, its official name is Mount Panorama, and I think it's garnered the respect of nearly every race driver who's laid eyes on it. Tell us a little bit about the track.
Well, any place that has a turn name called Hell Corner should tell you enough about the joint. But this is a motor racing track located in Bathurst, New South Wales, Australia. Situated on a hill with dual official names of Mount Panorama and Wallu. And it's best known as the home of the Bathurst 1000 race held every October and the Bathurst 12-hour event held each February. This 6.213 kilometer circuit, yes, 4 miles, is technically a street circuit, and it's a public road with normal speed restrictions when no racing events are being run. And there are many residences which can only be accessed from the circuit itself. Yeah, if you got to get to Joe's farm, you got to take a right there at the cutting. There's a gate there. You'll see it anyway. But Joe, this track, it's kind of an odd configuration. But the hill, once you get up on the mountain itself, the climb to the mountain and then being on the mountain working your way down are going to present many challenges for these drivers today. You're seeing there on screen a little bit of damage on the right side of that car. Well, getting up through Griffin's Mount there, that will happen. There's not a lot of room to get around here, Joe, and that's going to be an issue, and something we're going to be watching today is these cars working through the traffic.
And actually, to give us a really good idea of what it's like, Keith Ritchie is about to start his qualifying lap. I'm wondering if we could go on board, and hopefully he'll make it around for us. Not looking to put the commentator's curse on the Club West driver. You can see coming up to Murray's Bend is going to start the lap. The finish line will be early here. You see just about at this bridge is where they will complete. But when they start the race up here is where it will begin into Hell Corner, 90-degree bend, and this is really going to make or break the lap, I think, Sean, getting that exit coming up the mountain straight.
You know what? It is. The first, which the Tory here, turn 2, where he's heading into right now, this is going to be a very big issue for the drivers in both classes. You've got to really get slowed down there. The Nissan, especially, really wants to carry out to that wall, Joe. And then you've got to be real careful here up in the cutting. That left-hander, very slow, probably going to be in first gear through there.
This is where it gets extremely narrow up here to Frog Hollow. Fast series of sweepers. Drivers can be caught out and wind up slamming into the wall if they're not careful. And of course, dealing with the multi-class traffic no doubt will be a problem. Now they start to head back down the hill through the S's over Skyline and into the infamous Dipper, another place where the track can so easily get blocked up. Once you make it through there, now you head to Forest Elbow, one of the most important corners on the track. And just like the first corner, so critical to your lap time, getting the launch off of here, Sean.
Yeah, you've really got to hit that just right, Joe. There's only one line through there. It's down on the inside. You get washed out there, you'll be right into the wall. You won't make it down the hill and on the straight.
And then, of course, you got a popular passing spot here into the chase. Drivers will be coming through that kink flat-footed, at least in the Nissans. Can you keep your foot down through that little kinked entry in the Audi, Sean?
No. No, you can't. It's a bit of a trick getting through there as well in the Audi.
And there you can see you can complete a lap. Keith Ritchie puts a time on the board. and that gives him a 150.7. Now, there's not too many cars that have completed their lap, so he's currently in first. That may change. We see some drivers familiar from other series, such as Nuno Moreira has joined us from over in the Lotus 79 CTC series. You can, oh, look at that. I love that. He's got the old Mazda scheme. That is a classic. Of course, these drivers run these old schemes to compete in the VCR Championship. It's not an official championship. It's organized by the drivers. Ove Trangarade running the Audi once again in the purple and black machine, the number 5 today.
Yeah, Ove been practicing for a few hours now, Joe. I actually turned some laps with him a little while ago in the Audi in one of the practice sessions, and Ove's going to be one of the ones to watch today. He's been pretty solid down in the 204s, and I will tell you, for the Audi, that is about as good as it gets. I don't know that we'll see a 203, although the 204 that Ove's riding on is a 204 flat. So maybe this next lap he can get a flyer in there, but definitely some great names here. Rob Olenek is here, and we see AJ Bear is back this week. Ben Lauder is back. Andres Slissons is here, and this is going to be a fun one today, Joe.
And I did get some information from Ben. It's Laughter. So we should have taken
it
the
is
obvious...
Ben Laughter. Okay.
Yes. So we should have taken the obvious route on that one. But thanks, Ben, for the correction. Also, we were corrected. Apparently, we were incorrect last week. There is no incident limit on this series. I was not aware that each series can determine if it wants an incident limit and how much. And these drivers elected. They told iRacing, we don't want any, which I can kind of understand, Sean. In these cars, I'm guessing if it goes wrong in a hurry, and you're not coming back.
Yeah, and listen, from my practice here, I will tell you that the Audi is just a wicked, untamed little beast, and if you put just a little bit of damage on that car, you're not going to make it down the mountain. And boy, I'll tell you what, don't spin it around up there, up top in the S's or in the dipper, because there's no way to back it up and get it righted, Joe. You're looking for a tow at that point. We will see a car block this track today before this is all said and done with. I think it's just fairly inevitable. We've got a lot of great drivers here, good SOF here, strength of field, almost 2,800 today, but somebody's going to get in trouble. It just seems to always happen. Like I said, usually up around the dipper or somewhere in the S's, that car gets spun around. There's no space to get the car through or around. Everybody's going to have to stop up, and they're going to have to do it while they're coming downhill. I hope we don't see that type of mess, but we'll definitely be watching for it.
Absolutely. We saw a demonstration from Blake Neck finishing his lap that even the bottom of the hill here on the pit straight can be dangerous. We've got about a minute of qualifying left, and then drivers will be ready to go. Just a few of them have not managed to put laps in. Hopefully they can get those in before the clock runs out. Now, Sean, usually I tend to ask you about where drivers were likely to make overtakes and get passes done. And though I want to ask you about that, but specifically, I'm curious if from going from Griffin's Bend up onto the mountain all the way to Forest, is there any place that's sane for overtaking multi-class traffic, getting by for the Nissans, getting by the Audi, or are you going to have to wait in line all the way across there?
You may have to wait, Joe. I just don't know where the space is to get through, to be honest with you. You're really going to be looking to put pressure on the class in front of you, the slower class in front of you, and hope they make a mistake. And then you hope you don't get involved in that mistake. But maybe at the very top there, turn 10, you've got a shot before you hit the S's to maybe make a pass. And then maybe your next best shot is like right down there coming out of Forest Elbow. But it's going to be tough, and it's going to be something that I think will be an issue. We've got a pretty good split here today in 13 Nissans and 10 Audis. This will be competitive.
And let's go through your grid. Starting on the pole, it will be Keith Ritchie with Rob Olenek starting on the outside of row 1. Nicholas Mukanos will be starting in third, followed by Nuno Moreira. Let's see how he fares in a little bit more recent machinery in fourth. AJ Bear will start the race in fifth, followed by Steve Bycroft in sixth. Clayton McLeod will start the race in seventh, followed by Philip Lake in eighth. Marco Kika in 9th, and John Keefe in 10th. Then in 11th, you've got John Hill. Doesn't seem to have the qualifying pace here today. Let's see if he can move through the field. And Hideki Koivisto will start 12th. Let's go to the Audis.
Okay, in your GTO class, we've got Ove Trenograde will start 13th, Andrew Baki 14th, Nick Lujmans is going to be 15th, Andre Slisson 16th, Blake Neck 17th, Joshua Anderson 18th, Randall Sherritt 19th, Gilles Rio 20th, 21st. Joe is going to be Ben Laughter and James. Michael Kobach. I missed him there. That's a Kobach, the GTP late entry, no qualifying time, and James Chung 23rd.
And the good news for Michael is that he will be able to start with his class. He'll be slotted in at the end of the field as they now start their way through the chase. And it's going to be a short pace lap. The roof pace car only leads them through the final 3 or 4 corners. And then we go racing here for 30 minutes for round 8 of the iRacing Kamel GT Series here at Bathurst. Now up to the bridge, past the pit entry. Only a 30-minute race. Drivers will not want to be using that today. Pace car is going to peel off, and then Keith Ritchie will have control around Murray's corner. Takes them up nice and slowly up to the curbing. Outside, Rob Olenek trying to get up beside him, and now they finally get a green. A little bit of a checkup in the back, and that allows the car of, it looks like, AJ Bear to have a phenomenal start, making it 3 wide. Let's see if they can make it through there. A little bit of contact, but nothing that's harmful as everybody gets around Hell Corner. Let's go to the Audis.
Trenograde gets off to a great start. Joe gets out of Hell Corner clean. Side-by-side battle between Joshua Anderson and Blake Neck as they come up the straight. Looks like everybody going to step in, line astern, heading down to turn 2.
So as they approach Griffin's Bend, we see a little bit of a look from Andrew Backey. Oh, is he going to be able to get it in there? It looks like he's got a nose in on Ove Trengrade. They're going to be side by side up to the cutting. This is going to be difficult. It looks like he thinks better of it. First lap, doesn't need to risk it.
Yeah, and you need to get a little heat in those tires before you get too aggressive too, Joe. Awful slick here getting up the mountain.
We ride on board with Ove, looking back at second place Backey, the Atlantic driver, deciding that discretion is the better part of valor. By now, we've got the Nissans heading into the S's, into the Dipper, and it looks like everybody's managing to navigate it safely. No cars into the wall. Our leader is still Keith Ritchie, leading Rob Olenek, and Nicholas Mukanos rounds out our podium. Second and third still very close, within half a second between them.
Yeah, Andrew Baca got in the wall actually back here, heading just before the S's. He's back under power, a little bit of damage on the right side.
Blake Neck not just having problems in qualifying, but also into Forrest's elbow, getting all kinds of sideways, but manages to continue on. Andrew Bacchia, however, not having the first lap that he wanted. Let's take a look at the replay, Sean.
Yeah, he drops all the way from second, chasing Ove all the way to the back here, but he's going to be riding right behind Ove Trenograde as they head down the hill here.
It looks like this happens. You're going to see it here coming into over Skyline. It looks like the car got light, maybe? Does the rear want to come around on you there?
It sure looks like it did right there. He might have even clipped a little bit of the curb to help that effort. You've got to be very, very careful with the curbs here. A curb shot can even bring you damage if you hit it just right, but it looks like maybe the edge of that curve might have been part of the culprit there.
Had a bit of a battle in GTP. John Keefe trying to get by Marco Kika, but he managed to hold him off coming into Griffin's Bend. Still very much threatening for that 9th position in the Nissans. And you can see they're starting to stack up behind him. Behind Keefe, Michael Kopak closing in. Probably had better pace than his lack of a qualifying lap seemed to indicate as it gets very close to the wall. Coming up over Quarry. And they've got John Hill behind them. Riding close. Oh, big moment there from Kopak. That was a great save from that driver.
Yeah, it was, definitely, Joe. And you know what? This Nissan, not easy to save up here on the mountain.
how do the tires feel when you have moments like that, when they slide around? Do they start to punish you if you slide them too much?
They do, and they don't recover very quickly either. So that is something to be watched. They get to spinning around. It really takes a while to get back. Oh, Ove Trengrade having a little bit of trouble back here as he was getting down into the dipper. He is back. He's still in the lead. It didn't lose any time, but just a nick of damage on the right side of that car.
As long as the car handles fine, as long as the aero is good, we ride on board with Josh Anderson in third. He's hunting down Nick Loomis as he closes in, coming down into the chase. Is he going to take his nose inside? Yes, he does, but he's not quite far enough to get side by side. Nick is going to hold on to that second podium position for now. If they battle too much, they got to watch out because Andris Slisons is close behind, and he could be closing in on these guys.
Yeah, Slison's one of the fastest guys in practice earlier today, and I certainly look for him to try and make that up, but they are battling hard just ahead of him.
We have side by side for 8th place coming up to the cutting, but thankfully they sorted out in the GTPs. Philip Lake trying to get by Clayton McLeod. That could have been very bad if they tried to hold on to that one. See the Castrol machine holding off the Mercedes. Meanwhile, second place, Josh Anderson's now side by side with Nick Loomis. And Lumens has to give it up coming through Griffin's Bend. Move Josh Anderson one more step up the podium.
Yeah, Josh putting the power move down there. And, yeah, he's now actually, boy, you almost wonder if maybe he was being held up a little bit by Nick, but he has now set his sights on Ove up there, and Ove now about a second and a half ahead. That gap starting to close. Josh picking it up quick here.
We'll have to keep an eye on Ove's pace. Not sure if that little bit of damage that he accrued is going to hurt him, or maybe this is just Josh Anderson being fast on his own. He is certainly starting to reel him in, it seems.
Yeah, he is. Damage doesn't look heavy, but I think Ove at this point trying to be careful. He's already, had one little slip up. Doesn't want to make it any worse, but in his attempt to be clean here, it's going to cost him time because Anderson is on the way.
Heading down the Conrad straight into the chase, one of the best passing zones on the track. They're still going to stay in line as he tries to make up that time to our leader. It is now down to under a second. So Josh Anderson very much on the hunt.
Yeah, and
meanwhile,
go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, Philip Lake is still hounding Clayton McLeod. He wasn't able to get his nose in this time, coming up through Griffin's Bend. Oh, a horrible exit from Clayton coming through the cutting allows Philip to really reel him in, and now he is all over the back of that Nissan. Not much of an opportunity over the top of the hill. Coming up to McPhillamy Park here. Getting a little bit of space, Clayton does now. Over Skyline's Bend. They are starting to reel in Steve Bycroft as well. Bycroft probably hoping they'll start to fight each other so that he can squeak away. Oh, and Mukanos is saying that something's happened to him. Did he hit the wall? Oh, he's got big damage. You can see there on screen. Oh, and it looks like this happened at the top of the hill just before McPhillamy Park, so maybe about 50 seconds ago. Let's see if we can find it here on the replay. Oh, yes, here we're going to see. This is what I talked about, Sean. These corners, fast sweepers, just going to come around, boom, just like that.
And that's all it takes. And he literally has destroyed the right side of the car. I can't imagine it's turning well. He is in the pit.
Oh,
Mukanos having the pit,
For Mukanos, after starting this race on the podium, he is going to just shuffle down the order. They do not have fast repairs in this series, so I expect his race essentially to be over.
Yeah, that's probably going to do it for him now. We lost here a little bit. Joshua Anderson with a little bit of a mistake there. Has lost a little bit of time to Ove Trengrade, but now he's starting to pick it up down the Conrad Straight.
Was it a mistake from Josh, or did Ove turn it back up? We'll find out. So, this next lap by, he's closed it down from just a few moments ago. It was 1.3. Now it's 1.1. It's looking like a mistake from Josh, as you said, as they come across the line now under a second.
Yeah, Josh got back into his rhythm there and has picked it up, and now maybe looks to try and make a move on him here this lap. Joe, this race does not last long. We talked about 30 minutes. It's already, we're almost at the 20-minute mark.
And for those familiar with the Tidal Influence Lotus 49 series that we broadcast, you might recognize Josh Anderson around here at Bathurst. He won that race. He was known for being a specialist at this Australian track, being an Australian himself. Obviously very fond of this place and proving it doesn't matter what car, he knows his way around here. It is now down to 7/10 behind Ove Trangarade.
Yeah, Joe, I think there's a little bit to be said for actually knowing your way around here. There are a lot of nuances to this track, and nothing beats experience here. It's a very, very challenging circuit, and it does look like the experience prevails right now, as Anderson has gotten to a point of not if, but when.
And just behind them, as we check in with the mid-pack and the Audis, this GTO class sees Blake Neck, Andrew Sleesons, and Nick Lumens all very close together. And you can see this is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Second place, however, for the GTPs is definitely under threat as Nuno Moreira hunting down Rob Olenek. He had a huge run coming up to Griffin's Bend, but couldn't do anything with it. Oh, and Rob on screen does not have a nose. I'm trying to check on mine. I'm seeing, yes, he's missing it as well. Let's see what happened. This must have happened last lap up the top of the hill. That is going to significantly hurt his downforce. Oh, and it's the exact same thing that we saw with Nicholas Mukanos in the exact same corner. Just slid wide just before coming up to McPhillamy Park.
Now, Joe, our leaders in the GTP class are now actually finding a little bit of traffic. They've caught the 21 of Gilles Riot from France and having to make their way through. Keith Ritchie just had a close moment with him coming down the hill.
And we just missed it. Rob Olenek must have brushed the wall. It was oh so close coming through Forrest Elbow. Once again, the lack of that nose is hurting his straight line speed. You can see it is a done deal with ease even before they hit the kink for Nuno Moreira to move himself in a second in the GTP class.
There goes Moreira up to second.
You and I were talking about it before the race, Sean. This is going to be a race of attrition, and Nuno proving that all he had to do was stay patient, and he gets one more position.
Yeah, and you know what? Rob's going to keep digging. He's going to keep the car out there. So obviously it's not, you know, an unmanageable situation, but it's got to be tough, Joe.
Do you know, Sean, if they have the replaceable clips like they do with the HPD on these cars in iRacing? Can he pop in and they just give him a completely new nose?
You know what, Joe? I don't know the answer to that question. I'd be lying if I tried to give you an answer right now.
We'll have to look into that, see if we can figure out if maybe Rob can just take a lap to head in and get himself a new front end. In the meantime, AJ Bear is closing in behind him. He's going to have to get by traffic. Lumens, he is slipping down the order. What happened to Nick? Oh, he had a big problem coming over Skyline. Let's see if we can get a replay. This wasn't long ago.
Yeah, and the car just gets a little wicked on him in the rear end. It starts to slide around, and he can't save it.
This is going to be a very hairy moment for him and for everyone behind. Watch his sliding. The car almost turns over.
You see Sleeson's just sneak by right there.
Wow. Meanwhile, we've had a change for the lead. We're going to get to that in a minute. Actually, here's the replay right here. Coming down the Conrad straight. A brave move from Josh Anderson going side by side down into the kink. Do they stay side by side through there? No, it looks like Ove thought better of it, slipped in behind him, and Josh Anderson proving the master of Bathurst once again.
Yeah, and right now it looks like he just has better straight line speed than Ove Trangarade, and it probably has a little bit to do with the slight bit of damage that Ove picked up early. But Josh Anderson really looking strong here early. That Rothman's Audi Has a little bit of damage on the right side itself. Looks like he might have scraped a wall here at one point, but you know what? Here comes Ove, not done. You see him there in the mirror.
Ove, the Scandinavian, obviously not done with this fight. Want to try and hold on to see if he could use the draft to his advantage once he gets over the mountain. And actually, is the mountain straight and the Conrad straight, does that offer quite a bit of draft to be able to hold someone that's faster? As we see a battle here on screen between, is this Olenek and Bear? Bear gets by easily. Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
No, it's good. The draft, yes, there is a little bit, but it's not an extreme closing rate. The cars don't cut as big a hole in the air as you would think. The Audis especially. The Nissan, very, very streamlined, but again, doesn't cut a very big hole in the air. So the drafting, not like you would see on, let's say, like a DW12 or, you know, maybe an open wheel car, even a NASCAR Cup car. But yes, a little bit, but not. I don't think it's going to be the big factor. You've got to be really, really close to get the full effect of it.
Wow, look. Yeah. And a big slide from Anderson. He's definitely going to get a cut course as he tries to take evasive action through the chase. And there goes Ove Trangarade back through. Let's watch the onboard. You might also want to go back to Michael Kobach, who had some problems. What happened? Oh, he got the curve. Wow, look at that. Great hands as we ride on board and watch that wheel just saw back and forth.
The fact that he was able to just actually keep it near the track surface, amazing. Great job by Anderson there.
And about the same time, Michael Kopak had a moment going through Forrest's elbow, clipped the outside wall, and his race is over. He's come into the pits, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to get a replay or not. Meanwhile, we are taking a look at Kopak, who's, and wow, significant damage. That wasn't just a brush, that was a serious thwack.
Yeah, he hit it hard down there. I think it was down there in the cutting, actually, Joe. And he slammed a really, really bad wall slam there. That was more than a tank slapper. That was an ender.
Oof. Disappointing day for Kopak. Meanwhile, Keith Ritchie, we've checked in on our leader. Yes, he's still out there. Has a 6-second lead over Nuno Moreira. Let's take a look at their lap times. Looks like last one for Moreira, 53.8. 52.8 for Keith Ritchie. I'm wondering if that was traffic, though, the significant difference that we're seeing there.
Yeah, they're working through it right now. They've definitely caught the traffic, Joe. You know, we theorized that maybe that they may finish 3 to 4 laps ahead. I think really at current pace, it may only be a couple laps that they have to work through this. But we had maybe some trouble with laughter back there.
Let's see.
Yeah, he had a big slide. Big slide.
Not just a big slide, but a big slam into the wall. Yeah. And once again, we've seen multiple Audis have trouble down here through the S's. You're going to see it here on the replay. He heads through McPhillamy Park, going over Skyline. Once again, the car just seems to come out from under him. Big old slide, like you said. Pancakes.
Plants it. Yep, and he got going again, but the damage so extreme on the car, he eventually winds up towing.
Wow. A number of drivers ending their day prematurely in this 30-minute race. We're already past halfway, though, Sean, as we watch our leaders in the GTO class, and Josh Anderson has managed to get by once again.
Yeah, he's done it again. Josh Anderson back up to the front. Ove Trangarade showing a lot of fight today, though. This battle, I think, is going to be with us into the end, short of a mistake by one of these drivers. I think they'll be smart about it. Ove going to sit back there and wait to make his move like he did last time. Looks like all the action is probably going to be on the back straight, on the Conrad.
Yeah, that's where he overtook it. Meanwhile, going to 5th in the GTP class, this is Philip Lake and Steve Bycroft in a nice little battle. Steve manages to hold him off in the yellow machine. Philip Lake in the gray Mercedes, the Silver Arrows, trying to hunt him down. The Indiana driver trying to hold his cool over the mountain to get himself a top 5, knowing that if he could just keep it on track, he's got something in the bag here. But yeah, let's stay on this, but to your point before, it was on the Conrad straight that Anderson managed to get by. I wonder if Trangarade is struggling to get out of Forest Elbow. with the way that Josh is able to just breeze by multiple times now.
Yeah, I think that has a little bit to do with it. Our leader, though, in the GTP class has caught our leaders in the GTOs. It looks like he's caught them in a good spot, but not closing too quickly here down the Conrad. Really heading at the end of the chase.
Yeah, now we switched over it on screen. We were watching quite a hornet's nest coming out of Forest Elbow with multiple cars from each class as Richie tries to navigate through our two leaders. He's got one with Ove pulling off to the side. He catches him in a good spot here, being at the bottom of the hill, has to wait patiently. Coming through Murray's corner, now across the line down the front stretch, streams on by our leader of Josh Anderson, and he's going to be free. Nuno Moreira will be next. He's going to have to hope that he catches them before they get the Griffin.
Yeah, it's going to... Boy, he stands to lose a lot of time here if he doesn't catch him, Joe. I don't think he's too far out. I don't think he's going to catch him at all.
And you said it was about a 15-second difference between these two classes around here?
Yeah. Yes.
Which tells me I'm pretty sure he is going to catch them over the mountain.
Now, on race pace right now, I'm seeing more like about 10 seconds in race pace. In qualifying, it was a little bit more. But, in race pace now, it's still about 10 seconds. And, again, he's going to have... His best bet is going to be to try and get as close enough to him as possible when they get to Forest Elbow.
Now, normally, Sean, we give the Dory Award to the driver who is towards the back of the pack and just keeps going even if he goes laps down. I kind of want to give the Dory Award to Rob Olenek today, sitting in fourth. With that missing front end, he's still going. He's got Steve Brycroft catching up to him now, but he's not giving up out there.
No, again, the car, like I said earlier, the car handling just good enough to make it through here. They're getting by Ove Trendgrade right now. Boy, tough place to have to make these passes. Ove just being as patient as he can.
Wow.
But all this loss to Josh Anderson, that's really going to hurt Trendgrade's pace.
Ove was also close to the wall, and he's got damage on the right side. I wonder, is that from earlier on, or did that just happen now?
No, well, maybe he picked up a little bit more right there, but he did have a little bit of damage from earlier on, but it does look a little bit worse now. Ooh, that could be a big factor here.
And that was horrible timing because he is now 6.5 seconds behind Josh Anderson. The Australian is streaking away with this win.
Yeah. In fact, he's struggling right now, Joe. The car won't turn. It's not turning like it did. Yeah, he is struggling. You can see it on entry. The rear end is coming away from him. He can't get the car to turn.
We're riding on board with Anderson. I wonder if we could switch to an onboard of Ove to see how his car is handling. There we see the purple number 5 of the Scandinavian hopping on board. We're not going to be able to see here down the mountain straight.
Well, let's stay on board with him here down actually to Quarry because I'm interested to see how he's able to manage that. Again, the car just does not seem to be turning well. The rear end very, very wild right now.
Oh yeah, you can see under braking, he was trying to hold the car together into Griffin. Not looking too wild coming through the corner. The braking for the cutting is going to be a real test here. Relatively smooth up through that difficult braking for the left-hander, and then on up the hill. So we'll have to keep an eye. Blake next, still 10 seconds back from Ove Trangarade. He could catch him in the final 8 minutes depending on his pace. Here we see the Australian in third. Meanwhile, Olenek has been caught by Philip Lake. And actually, Steve Bycroft was passed by Philip Lake. He finally got by. So the yellow Indiana driver, unfortunately, moving backwards when he could have had a chance to move forward, but he could still get Olenek, who is suffering from a lack of speed here down the Conrad straight. Philip Lake going to have easy pickings as he moves off to the right and squeaks through. That's going to move Lake into P4. Nice run for Philip. And in fact, Philip started this race in 8th position, and this lap alone, he's going to gain 2. That number 10 machine is on the move this race.
Yes, it is. We've seen Lake before, not just here in the Kamel GT. He is awful fast, and he's looking good right now.
Let's run through the top 5 in each of your class, get you up to date of where they sit. Keith Ritchie is going to be your leader in the GTP class. He leads by about 11 seconds over Nuno Moreira, who is currently trying to circulate and bring home the second place. AJ Baer rounds out the podium. He's another 3 seconds behind Nuno. Philip Lake sits in 5th in the GTP class, or excuse me, 4th in the GTP class, with Rob Olenek trying to limp this car to the finish, still in the top 5. What are the Audis looking like?
All right, well, that's going to see Josh Anderson still sitting there at the top. He is ahead now of Ove Trendgrade by, what do we got here? About, he's opened it up to about 14 seconds. Now, I'm sorry, about 10 seconds. Ove Trendgrade now still sitting in 2nd, hanging on because Blake Neck is catching him. Now got that down to just a little over 5 seconds. And that is your podium there in the GTO class. Andrew Obake is held on to the 16th spot, 16th overall, 4th in class. And I'm sorry, Andrew is 5th in class. Andrew Slisons, I got my Andrews and my Andrew mixed up there. Slison's currently sitting 4th in class there.
We got that sorted out. So there you can see.
Yeah, do you got that? Okay.
Yeah. Backy still running good pace out here despite some damage you can see on the machine. I think we're going to see very few cars having pristine Audis and Nissans taking a lot of curb heading down through the S's. Brave driver Andrew still running 207s out on track.
And 207s are great with the kind of damage he's got on that right front. He did, on the left side. He did that, I think that was on the 1st or 2nd lap, Joe, and he has persevered, and it's going to pay off with a top 5 finish for him.
Slison's starting to catch up to Blake Neck. They are now 3/10 within each other. This is the final spot on the podium, up for grabs here with only 4 minutes to go. Drivers starting to lose the amount of time that they have to make something happen. Wonder if we're going to see a few desperate moves or if drivers will be content just to see the checkered flag.
Slisons was very, very fast in practice, Joe. I don't think he's done yet here. He's kept the car clean. That's very, very important here at Bathurst. The only problem is that, Blake Neck up in front of him has done the same, and this is going to be a good battle. I see Soup is watching in on us here today. Suggests that maybe Blake has a brother named Stiff. Just a thought.
We'll have to ask him about that one. But meanwhile, continue to watch this battle as the number 6 trying to hold off the number 11. Is that a mistake from Slisons coming through Griffins?
A mistake, or he was being nice, one or the other, Joe. But when you're in a battle like that, that's tough to lose that time. John Hill having a little bit of trouble in front of him there, making it through that left-hander.
John having to be patient. Yeah. But he doesn't have anyone near him. He's got 10 seconds back to Hideki Koivisto, and John Keefe still 12 seconds ahead of him. He's going to sneak to the inside. This is going to slow up Blake Neck, though, and allow Andrus Slisons to start to catch back up. So the players have called car. They've called game back on. The fight returns once again.
I love this shot here, watching Slisons chase. You know, you've got to be careful down through there. You got to guard against trying to push too hard. And it looks like neither one of them do. They do just enough to get clean, but here comes Slison, going to make a run at him here, heading down to the chase. He's running out of time, Joe.
He's got to try and reel him in now. Keith Ritchie is currently over the top of the mountain with 2.5 minutes left. Are we going to have white flag this time by? I believe we should.
Man, look how much time Slison's picked up on him heading into the chase, Joe.
Very strong into the heavy braking of one of the penultimate corners on this track. As they come down the front stretch, a good exit out of Hell Corner could give him the opportunity. Can Slisons get the grip out of here? Can Blake Neck hold him off? They're just about dead even. So it looks like they're not going to have an opportunity into Griffin's Bend. Clock continues to tick down. We're now under 2 minutes to go. Yeah, that's Keith Ritchie.
Just tick-tock. That's all I hear in my head right now.
I think we're going to get white flag this time by. Keith Ritchie comes to the line. One more lap to go. If you're going to get it done, you got to make it happen now. And even our leader, you can see on the nose of that Nissan, there is some severe damage.
Boy, you and I talked about this before the race, Joe. Attrition was going to be a really, really big deal today, and it has been. It has been. Again, it's such a tough circuit.
Battle for second place as AJ Bear closes in on the back of Nuno Moreira. And once again, this is the final lap, so this is all up for grabs between these two. If AJ wants one more step on the podium, he's got to make it happen now. Right on board. Oh, what happened to the Nissan of Nuno Moreira as he backs off significantly? Was that just early braking, or I did not expect him to close like that, Sean?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just a little bit too much brake pressure there. Possibly?
Highly unusual. Well, AJ still has to make it work as they're at the top of the mountain. I'm keeping an eye on the leader. I'll bring us over to Keith when he gets towards the line, but I want to watch this battle between second and third. Down through the S's, into the dipper they go. Easy to make mistakes through here. Nuno Moreira continuing to hold off AJ Bear. And in fact, now it looks like he's stretching it. Maybe that lit a fire under Nuno. Understanding that he's got to do something to keep himself from being under threat down here into the chase. Meanwhile, Keith Ritchie comes through the chase himself. He's got one more corner to go. It looks like the West Club driver is going to take another win here at Bathurst. And as he comes across the line, give P1 to Keith Ritchie. Battle for second still on. In fact, very close as Nuno Moreira trying to go defensive down in the final corner. Can AJ Bear do anything? He's going to look around the outside. Can he get the over-under across the line? He doesn't get the run out of there, and it's going to be Nuno Moreira second, AJ Bear in third. Great battle there for the podium.
All right, Joe.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Blake Neck, unfortunately, we're not Blake Neck, but Andrew Sleeson's made a mistake at the top of the hill in the last lap, allows Blake Neck to get away. Blake Neck is threatening Ove Trenegrade for this second spot on the podium. Coming down the mountain, it's going to be a last shot here for Blake Neck to make a move. He's closed in on just a second and a half.
That's going to be a big ask, I think, unless that car is severely handling ill. Meanwhile, Josh Anderson is now coming out of the chase. He's going to get lapped one more time by John Hill, unless he waits patiently behind him. Oh, John looking to try and find a way by, but they're going to stay in line. It's the last lap, nothing up for grabs, rather, as the win in the Audis goes to Josh Anderson.
Great run by Josh Anderson. Great overtaking and battle with Ove Trenegrade. Ove Trenegrade coming down to the last turn now. Murray's Corner. Here we come. Get to the left-hander clean, and it's all yours.
Ove Trenegrade comes across the line. He's going to salvage a second place despite the damage, and Blake Neck is going to round out the podium and the Audis. And with that, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. After this, we'll have the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, and on screen, you're going to see all the upcoming races here on GSRC.
And welcome back. Joe is off on another assignment. I am back with you, Sean Ambrose here. Welcome back to the Kamel GT Championship. The completion here of round 8 at Bathurst brought a great race today. Lots of fighting up on the mountain. Let's run down your results here real quick for everyone. And it sees your big winner today in the Nissans is going to be Keith Ritchie. Great run for him. Great run for Nuno Moreira back there, coming up 2 spots to finish second. He was digging, had a great battle with AJ Bear there at the very end to finish third for AJ. He also came up 2 spots. Again, great battle there in the Nissans up front today. Philip Blake going to be your 4th place finisher. Rob Olenek, tough luck for him today, but he does manage to hang in there, finish 5th. Steve Bycroft 6th. Marco Kika is 7th. Clayton McLeod 8th. And 9th going to go to John Keith. 10th, John Hill in your GTP class. And then we'll go back to Hideki Koivosto, the last one on the lead lap there in the GTPs. And your big winner today in the GTO, that is Josh Anderson, a former winner here in the Lotus 49, knows his way around this track. Ove Trenograde does a great job to hang on to a damaged car that he picked up early. Fought well with Anderson, but will settle for second in class. Blake Neck, great run there at the end. A good battle with Andrew Slisons, who finishes 5th. I'm sorry, I lost my place. 4th in class. And then Andrew Becky is going to finish 5th, 16th overall. Randall Sharrett, Jill Riol, 18th. Michael Kopak, 19th overall. Ben Laughter, 20th overall. He had a little bit of trouble early, lost it and couldn't recover from that. Tough day for him. And then we'll go back to 21st place overall. It's going to be Nick Lujmans and Nicholas Mukanos. We saw early had trouble with that car, destroyed it in the GTP class there. And then the last car, James Chung. Don't know if Chung actually ever got off the line, but not showing he recorded any laps. But that is your 23. Tell you what, I know we've got Keith Ritchie up there waiting to be. Let's catch up with Keith Ritchie in Victory Lane. Keith, congratulations today. Man, the mountain is tricky. Tell us a little bit about that run.
You know, it's it is tricky. It's just a race where you've got to be consistent and keep it off the wall more than anything. But I think the more you think about the walls, the more likely you are to hit them. So that was really the goal there, is just to keep it clean and consistent throughout the race. And a lot of fun. Spent a lot of time to seeing all weather conditions, race fuel, qual fuel, just to try to be as prepared as possible, because after the mistake I made last week, I wanted to make sure to keep it on the track.
Keith, I saw some of your posts in the forum. In fact, you did put a little bit of time into this one. It meant a lot to you, didn't it?
It does. The series means a lot. The competition that we have out here, the group that raced the series is a great group. And so I definitely would like to let anyone know who's interested in the series to come check it out. Come check us out in the forums, where you can find setups and guides and get all the help you need for either car, and come out and practice with us and run some races, because this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the mountain presents a unique set of challenges. What's the most challenging part of this circuit for you?
It's actually probably turns 4 and Dipper, where the car can really get loose in a hurry, and there's not a lot of time to react if that happens.
Yeah, and then the wall is right there to your right.
Oh, yeah. Definitely don't think about that too much as you're going down into the Dipper, for sure. But like anything, you get consistency from practice, and there's no replacement for that. So if you're bumping the wall, you just probably haven't practiced quite enough. And especially, we had hot weather, 106 Fahrenheit track temp today. And so that obviously makes it a little more challenging to keep the traction, keep the tires under you. So.
Well, Keith, congratulations. A great victory for you. I guess it's time to start getting work done at Donington.
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward. First time we've raced Donington in this series, so looking forward to getting out there and practicing it. As always, I'll be posting guides for it and setups and help get people up to speed with it, and it should be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, if during my adventures with a little bit of practice I see you, I'll stay out of the way.
All right, thanks, Sean, and great job on the broadcast.
All right, and that is Keith Ritchie. Thanks to him, and congratulations for the big win. Let's see, who we're going to talk to next here. We've got, let's talk to Andrew Baki. Hang on, let's pull him in. Andrew, congratulations on a good run today. It was a little tough out there, but you avoided most of the carnage. Come home with a fifth place finish. How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I made a couple mistakes early on in the race. I think I just got a little ahead of myself, found myself in second behind Ove, and figuring, I'll keep him. It's my job to keep him honest. And then entering the S's, slid off to the outside. First time I've done that, but I'm relatively content with how I salvaged a bad start.
Yeah, well, you definitely salvaged it. This track is so tricky. What's it like trying to wheel around a car that's got a little bit of damage here?
Fortunately, I didn't have any handling issues. I think I was just up on drag. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot of room for error, especially across that uphill. But this car is a blast around here. When you get it hooked up, you can feel it, and it's a blast. And when you get it a little bit wrong, you feel like you're kicking yourself.
What was it like when the traffic started coming through today? How's that feeling here when those Nissans start to come up on you?
It's a lot nicer when you're not in direct competition with anybody. Gives you a little bit more room to be patient and consistent, and everybody did a great job out there. It's impressive how easy it is here. I was expecting it would be a little tougher.
Well, buddy, we'll see you next week at Donington. Congratulations on a good run today, and hopefully we'll get you a better result, maybe on the podium next week.
Here's hoping. Thanks.
All right, and that was Andrew Baki, and we thank him for coming on in, visiting with us. We're going to catch up with Nuno Moreira. Nuno in a pretty good fight there with AJ Bear there at the end. Was competitive all day. Nuno, congratulations on another podium finish, sir.
Hey guys, hey, thank you very much. It was really a surprise for me, as it was the only race I did but I really do love this car and also track. So this combo is one experience that I would recommend to anyone in sim racing. So to come to iRacing and try the mountain with the Nissan, it's something out of this world. So that's why I came here, and it was a very good result in the end. It was surprising, but I'm happy with it, of course.
Nuno, you talked about how exciting it is to drive the Nissan here. Everything seems to come up so fast. What does it take to challenge that?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what is so good. It's almost frightening, real fear. So this is a game, so simulation, okay. But this is the circuit that gives you that sense of a certain fear. Of course, nothing comparable to reality, but at least you have a sense of it. So it's just a magical combination: a fast car here like the Nissan and a ruthless car, and this circuit where you really have to pace yourself. So you really need to go fast, but if you go just 1 millimeter more faster or out of the line, and you bang, you hit the wall, as it happened to me. That's why I lost a lot of straight line speed in the last 2 laps. But that's part of the game, so it's very good.
Nuno, I talked with another driver a moment ago, but I want to ask you, since you were in the Nissan, what was it like having to deal with the traffic? We noticed you lost a little bit of time. You have to kind of pick your spots, don't you?
It's really the challenge also of the series, and people get away from it. But it's one of the greatest characteristics and unique characteristics of it, which is dealing with traffic. And you really need to be patient, because it's better that you lose 1 or 2 seconds, whatever, it doesn't matter, than ruining your race and someone else's race, and maybe someone else that comes behind, because you're having a crash at the top of the mountain is something that cannot happen. So if it does, it's a tragedy for too many people.
Well, Nuno, we'll see you next week at Donington. You planning to be there?
Well, no, I just came here this is a one-off on the Nissan. I will be back at my Lotus routine. So, but well, I would like to, but I don't have time to practice or to give more to this series. But well, I would recommend it to anyone on the planet. That's for sure.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we hope to see you back. We'll see you tomorrow on the Lotus 79. I'm sure you've got a little bit of work to do there, so we'll let you go. And thank you again for a great race today.
Hey, thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right. And that was Nuno Moreira, your sometimes participant here in the Kamel GT series. Nuno with a great second place finish today. Listen, folks, race fans, we appreciate you being here today, but we want to send a big shout out and thank you to the Kamel GT community and Rob Olenek for putting this all together and getting us on TV for some racing in the Kamel GT series. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts that are listed on your screen. You know, we want to give special thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. They don't get enough credit for the music they bring to us on these broadcasts. Their contact information can be found on screen as well. Hit them up if you're looking for some great music to just listen to. Chill out. Spend a nice quiet evening at home with a candlelight. Thanks to our team today, the great Joe Peak, Amjad Yaman back there twisting and tweaking the dials, the great Dougie Beard, the Ansel Adams of pictures. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel or Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel. Just type it in, you'll find us. Now the next race, don't miss us, next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, that's Saturday the 13th, we'll be at Donington for a very, very special race, and we can't wait to join you there. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen. Check those out, mark them down on your calendar. Go to the globalsimracingchannel.com website when this is over if you want more information. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.